I'm making this in video format because I want this to be more concise than my live stream was. The stream is gonna have to be edited before it can be released to the public again. And that's mainly because this throwaway account decided to dox Plague Moth in my live chat. I want to put it out there for the record that I don't support doxing and I never will. I am actively working on scrubbing it from my end, and this account will no longer be able to comment on my live streams anymore, or any of my videos. I am very sorry to Plagued Moth and his family. Let it be known that this person will never represent myself or my community. They were never a part of my community, and they never will be. While I acknowledge that perhaps more moderation could have prevented this, I trusted my community enough to not dox your family, and the community pulled through for me, because the moment this happened on stream, the community alerted me right away, and we took action working with the people watching live who were able to send me the username of the person responsible, and my tech support, Phineas, was able to help me moderate the chat from then on.
Yeah, what's up?
Someone said there's doxing going on.
Oh shit. Let's see. Where's the doxer? Please tell me.
I don't see it myself, but but people in your chat were just saying.
Please report him. Just tell him who it is. I will ban them. Okay, connected core. There it is. I see it. We're going to, first of all, let's do the responsible thing. We are going to report for. What do I report it for? Like, not misinformation. Anything. Pornographic. I guess unwanted commercial spam. We're going to report user is no longer visible to anyone other than the commentator. Cool. And then just send me that guy's YouTube thing, and I will ban them from YouTube. If somebody wants to, during the chat, if someone can send me their YouTube channel, because I just banned them. Yeah, because I just banned them from the chat. I just muted them. Sorry about that, everybody. We do not want to dox Plague Moth. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, no, doxing should never happen on
whoever that was, fuck you. You're putting his kids in danger. You fucking asshole.
Whoever that was, I hope you slip on a banana peel when you exit your house.
I know we're being a little mean about it, but I do not support doxing. I support being critical of this guy. And I support, like, showing that he's being an asshole to me, obviously. But, you know.
To prevent this from happening again, Phineas has volunteered to help me with tech issues and support for my channel. I deeply apologize that this occurred on my watch. I'm taking steps to fix it, and I am also taking steps to make sure that this never happens again. With that all being said, I understand that due to my video and recent events in my live stream, that Plagued Moth is not happy with me. And that's completely understandable. He is facing a lot of criticism and controversy now. And he basically just sees me as a person who is adding fuel to the fire. I wasn't really anticipating for Plagued Moth to see my video, considering the fact that when I reached out to him in Twitter DMs for comments, he never responded to me. So I assumed that Moth thought I was just a nobody, but he saw it, and his response to my video has been interesting. So let's talk about it. Plagued Moth has been actively slandering me online, putting words in my mouth and accusing me of making claims about him that I never said. This is in response to the video I made on the Twitter drama between Plagued Moth and That Creepy Reading, to which I used screenshots of his own Twitter and his own comments on Discord to back up everything I've said. And with that comes what I speculate to be that Moth never has actually seen my video in its entirety. Let me explain. Plagued Moth is a liar. There are 3 notable tactics of defense when Plague Moth addresses criticism online. Moth will either half-ass a defense on Twitter with no screenshots to back up what he's saying, with his source being, "Trust me, bro."
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Or he will put up his defensive shields, like using his gender identity, or his family, or all of his stalkers, or what have you, to basically guilt trip you into feeling bad about criticizing him at all.
And they've been attacking my identity and my family. Not only do I feel discriminated against, maybe I'm pulling that out of my ass, but like I said, I don't want to fucking make this the whole video.
And when all else fails, he will resort to lying about you, in the hopes that if he spreads just enough misinformation, then he'll get you to shut up. Let's start at the very beginning. I reached out to Plagued Moth for a comment on the current Twitter drama that he was in with That Creepy Reading on March 1st at 1:36 p.m.
Hey Moth, I'm reaching out because I've been seeing the drama go down with TCR, and I was wondering if I could ask some questions. I'm thinking of covering it on YouTube, if you don't mind answering a few questions. If you don't, that's fine. And for full transparency on the reporting, I've interviewed both yourself and TCR to get both sides, so if I could get yours, that would be highly appreciated. Thank you.
Now, that creepy reading made me aware that 2 people reached out to both content creators for comment, that being myself and Scott Inksmith. Then 2 hours after my message at 3:56 p.m., Plagued Moth tells his Discord followers that someone wants to interview us both for clout. That us both part is extremely important because the only other person I was informed that reached out to both of these creators besides myself was Inksmith. Andrea messaged me personally to explain that he wasn't talking about me, and perhaps I jumped the gun here and thought he was talking shit behind my back. Like, my message clearly states that he doesn't need to talk to me if he doesn't want to give a statement. That's totally fine. He's not obligated to talk to me if he doesn't want to. He doesn't know me. I'm some rando on the internet. I get it. And if he believes that I'm a clout chaser, then he has every right to assume that. I mean, everybody on YouTube, to an extent, is a clout chaser. It's just some of us are more open about it than others. But given the timing of everything, I just thought it was really strange and a weird coincidence. It is very possible that other content creators like Tipster or the T-Spill channels wanted to reach out. But due to how morbid this whole situation is, I don't think this would really be in their ballpark to talk about anyways. I mean, most T-Spill channels, all they want to do is talk about like random TikTok drama anyways. I mean, I could totally be wrong. I mean, Tipster did talk about Cure the Wolf, so like, I don't know. So I make my video talking about this whole situation and criticizing both creators. And not even a day later, Moth's people start losing their fucking minds, which, listen, is totally understandable. If I were faced with these type of accusations and my audience didn't think they were true, you guys would probably be on the attack too. Not to this extent, might I say, but look, these people are valid in feeling the way they do. If they want to get mad at me and hate me, that's fine. I'm not going to please and convince absolutely everyone that I'm in the right. I know that. I'm not surprised by that. Everyone's gonna have their opinion. But even though this community claims to have watched the whole video and complained about how long it was, which, you know, yeah, but it becomes very apparent by their reaction as well as Moth's reaction to my video that the information either just went through one ear and out the fucking other, or they didn't watch my video the whole way through. Moth has been making various claims about me, claiming that my sources were faulty, which they very well could be, as I'm depending on the word of people who haven't been a part of the server in 2 years. But in terms of all of the other stuff, I still have plenty of screenshots of recent behavior that indicates that Moth is a vindictive person, in my opinion. But anyways, let's put our opinions to the side and look at the direct lies that Moth has made about me. Plagued Moth claims that I intentionally slandered and fabricated lies about him. Slander, by definition, is the publication of defamatory matter in a non-permanent form. And libel is essentially the same thing, but in a permanent format. To understand this difference, I'm gonna give a brief example. So let's say that I write for, like, some newspaper, and I'm writing an article about, like, a celebrity that we'll name off the top of my head. Let's go with, like, Leonardo DiCaprio or something. And let's say I wrote this article about how Leo did something outlandish and terrible, or he's like this certain type of person that he actually isn't. So let's say I wrote an article about Leonardo DiCaprio and how he, like, I don't know, he sacrifices animals to keep his youth, he eats baby fetuses, and he drowns children. Let's just say I wrote something like that. For the record, I don't actually believe that Leonardo DiCaprio did these things. I am just giving an example. You know, like something stupid. But the thing is, right, I know this isn't true, and I don't have any evidence to back this up. But I'm gonna publish it anyways. That would be libel, because I just lied about something and I wrote it down in an accessible format that can be used as proof against myself if Leonardo DiCaprio decides to sue me. Now, slander is a non-permanent form of defamation. So in simple terms, it is hot gossip. A lot of slander cases are chalked up to he said, she said, mainly because these are lies that come from word of mouth, not written down anywhere. And without a written word of confession of the lies, it's essentially the one person's word against the other. In the case of my video, however, it's the case of Plagued Moth's own words against Plagued Moth.
But there's never been gore here. Actually, I take that back. There would have been a long time ago, because my first Patreon page, like over a year ago was removed because we were doing uncensored content. That was no secret. It will be uncensored on Patreon as well, and we'll analyze it there together. Again, uncensored, as well as my Infamous 4 docuseries and things like that, and other uncut content. You can check out the links in the pin down in the description. Any tier of the Patreon will get you Discord access from here on out. I have no access to the page though right now. Handling some stuff, there were some terms of service changes and stuff, and my page was basically found in violation. I mean, ooh, surprise!
Not only did I provide legal disclaimers in the beginning of the video. Before we start with today's video, I want to preface this for legal reasons that everything that we are about to discuss are allegations. Both parties are to be addressed and presumed innocent until proven guilty. The video description, and again, right before the Daisy's Destruction section, to suggest that everything I'm about to present are allegations and that both parties should be presumed innocent until proven guilty. For the claims that I could back up with evidence, I show my audience that evidence. Although for anything that I didn't have enough information on, I reminded my audience that it was just speculation and allegations. Everything I said in my video was followed up with that disclaimer, or they were followed up with Moth's own comments that he has made publicly on his social media platforms. So I couldn't have possibly committed libel or slander because I had his own statements and his own words to use as my evidence. There's an argument to be made that my sources that I did interviews for were people who weren't currently in the server, and they hadn't been in the server for years. I tried to reach out to people like Crystal or Getting Spooky for comment because I used her tweets in my video showing a defense from Moth's community. The rest of his defenders on Twitter like Blur Hydra either didn't have their DMs open or refused to talk to me. The people of his community were upset that I never reached out to any of them for comment. But like, dude, it's like, I don't know you. The only reason that I interviewed the sources I interviewed was because they either reached out to me or were the only people willing to talk and give their testimony on what they know from their own personal experiences. If Plague Moth has any issue with any of my sources, he can debunk them publicly with his own screenshots and evidence. But instead, Moth has been actively throwing random shit at the wall and hoping that it sticks, accusing the people who helped me with my video and collect screenshots, like Snaily and Ram Ranch and Parentagoon, who's been defending me, and That Creepy Reading and Spindling, of being pedophiles with nothing to back that up.
Quickly debunking the hate brigade and slander from lazy ass. Stop lying. You've been cut too many times. Defending Ripper is a new level of stupid, though.
I'm gonna explain this part with more details and screenshots than I did in my live stream. One of the lies that were spreading around in his Discord was that Snaily was friends with Fergie, and that somehow that means I'm defending Fergie because I talked to Snaily. For the record, Snaily is Anon B who came out publicly. This is just another example of how Plagued Moth and his community never actually watched my whole video, because if they had, they would have saw the whole section about Fergie and calling him out for allegedly having a 15-year-old boyfriend who he groomed into dating him when Fergie was 20 years old. Anon B claims that Fergie would sexually harass them, along with another moderator that went by the Discord name Phineas. When Anon B would report their behavior to Plague Moth, they would recall that Moth would retaliate against them by banning Anon B and accusing them of being predatory. A little while afterwards, Anon B's accusations against Fergie would be confirmed, as Plague Moth would expel them from the entire Discord. The reason being is that Fergie was exposed for being a predator. Plagued Moth came out publicly on Twitter, making the accusation that not only was Fergie a pedophile who was seeking child necrophilia content on the dark web, but also apparently Fergie owned a YouTube page that Moth's Discord community was aware of. This Discord channel had its name changed to Project 11. The name change came from what Plagued Moth alleges was that Fergie and his 15-year-old victim that he was grooming to date him was responsible for the creation of MD Pope 5.
They have illicit activities with minors, including having a 14-year-old neo-Nazi furry boyfriend. Because he always has an obsession with becoming famous, he perpetrated a lot of the myths of Snuff R73. He made up One Guy, 5 Shotguns. He's the one who did that MD Pope 5 thing. He is a very bad individual, and so far he's been scrubbing himself offline, and Ripper has went silent at the same exact time.
And also the fact that this 15-year-old and Fergie were responsible for the creation of MD Pope 5. Now, something I didn't talk about in my video was the accusations that Fergie is also this dark web user called Ripper. These are accusations that Plagued Moth made a month ago. And recent information that has come out would suggest that Plagued Moth has incorrectly identified Ripper as Fergie. And in order to explain why this is the case, I need to explain a little bit about who Ripper is. Ripper is a deep web editor / creator of many different mixtapes of child girl, and child girl. He goes by many names online. Ripper, Candy, Kindergarten, etc. He usually names himself after some of the mixtapes that he makes. Like when he called himself Candy, it was actually in reference to his most infamous mixtape, Candyland. A lot of Ripper's content is very illegal, and it's been an online mystery as to who the hell this guy is. Now, here's what you need to understand about Ripper. Despite being this deep web boogeyman that everyone thinks he is, and it's like, yes, but also, Ripper doesn't hide as much as you think he does. Ripper is super open about everything that he does online, including the fact that he was willing to do plenty of interviews in the past. If you want a full, in-depth look at all the interviews that Ripper has done, I'll link this video by Thesis or Tethys, I think is how you pronounce that, about all of the interviews that Ripper has done over the years, including one interview where Ripper confirms that he is not Fergie.
Howdy. I'm okay, not in jail. I got raided by the feds on February 2. Also, nothing is gonna happen with the feds, I think. They just said they gonna reset my stuff. So I lost everything, which is shit. But at least I'm still free. Oh, yeah, I don't care what happens to Moth or the kid, honestly, lol. Just a crazy situation. Now everyone gonna think that's me, bahahaha.
In fact, Ripper has his own personal Instagram account that is now private. We know this is Ripper because the person who did this interview with this account was able to get a screenshot of what Ripper looks like, albeit Ripper sent it heavily censored so that he doesn't get, caught. So, that seems to be the guy. Allegedly, of course. And I'm not gonna lie, doesn't look anything like Fergie, but then again, none of Moth's claims seem to match up with Fergie being Ripper at all anyways. So here's what we know. Ripper did an interview on either Twitter or Telegram, I'm not really sure which. But during this interview, he provided a screenshot of his desktop. This tells us a couple things. First, that he's been using Fillmore 9 to make his mixtapes, and that he also uses the Tor browser, which isn't surprising. But the most important thing here is that Ripper uses private internet access. Moth alleges that Ripper is someone who uses a school email who doesn't bother using a VPN, which is how he was able to ping Fergie and Ripper's IPs to be the same person.
But the final piece of evidence that really put all this together is multiple IP pings on Ripper, meaning he wasn't even using a VPN at these points, and another individual that was suspected to be Ripper pinged the same IP. What this means is they literally traced their fucking home address via their internet connection. Now, IP is not 100% accurate, so to speak, but this person used their school email.
Well, we now know from Ripper's own admission that he does use a VPN, so that wouldn't match up. Also, let's just contextualize this and think about it for just a second. Speaking from personal experience about what I understand about high school IT and student accounts that are linked in with the school, student accounts are not private. The school administration can look into your search history, your personal saved files, everything. Schools can be very hit or miss when it comes to tracking down the online activity of their students. However, considering that school emails are tracked by the administrators of the school, don't you think that Ripper would have been caught with his school account being linked to all of this horrendous shit way sooner? Really think about what Moth is saying here for just a second. Most school emails and computer accounts are set up by the school, so it would make sense that the school would also be tracking things like your search history and your personal saved data. Should, of course, a student be doing the illegals with school property, essentially. So, if this kid wasn't using a VPN, was using his school email, and was openly talking about the type of shit that he's into online, this guy should have been caught a long fucking time ago. But he got away with doing this for 2 years. Ripper's first mixtapes appeared online in December of 2021. So you're telling me for 2 years using a school email with no VPN that this person got away with posting, downloading, and distribution of child gore and child porn without school administration knowing about it? Like, that either has to be the shittiest school IT and administration ever, or that doesn't make any fucking sense. Now, rumor is that Ripper is a 16-year-old from Australia, so the school email claim would make sense. But I have some issues with this claim, because if Ripper allegedly is 16 right now, that would mean he was 13 or 14 years old when he started posting mixtapes online. Now, Ripper's fanbase is pretty underground and it's pretty big. A lot of people who support Ripper are minors themselves. It's not impossible that this is the work of a high schooler, but it's also like, you know, how the hell does someone who is 13, 14 years old know how to find hardcore videos on the dark web without getting caught? Like, come on, you don't expect a 13-year-old to make some rookie mistakes? If this is the case, then I expect this kid to get caught, like, the moment he ended up in the dark web. Like, what the fuck? But from what we know of Fergie and what he has personally stated themselves on their Twitter, Fergie is 20 years old. Now, Moth doesn't necessarily speculate if this school email was either a high school email or a college email. But personally, it just doesn't make any sense that this 20-year-old would claim to be a 16-year-old using a school email with no VPN. Now, there are some minor things in terms of Ripper and Fergie's behavior that don't match up to them being the same person. First of all, Ripper claims to have actually liked the video that Plagued Moth made about him. Meanwhile, Fergie has openly been on his Discord server shitting on Moth like all the time. Plus, there's also Fergie's role in subreddits like Mondoesia. See, Ripper was the original reason that the Plagued Moth subreddit was removed. And because Ripper's posts on the subreddit were extremely grotesque and illegal, not only did it take down Plagued Moth server, but also it got Ripper completely blacklisted from Reddit. Even if you try to look up and find any information on Ripper on Reddit, it's been completely scrubbed. So my question is, how does Fergie have access to those subreddits if Ripper is IP banned, from what I assume? But the most important factor in all of this is that Fergie is currently not in prison. Now, of course, don't get it twisted, Fergie is still a very shitty person. He's a sexual predator who made Empty Pope 5 with his 15-year-old boyfriend and continuously harassed a bunch of people on Moth's Discord, including Snaily. And look, trust me, I would love for this guy to be caught more than anything, but these IP pings have never been seen by anyone. I'd love to see the burden of proof against Fergie that he is Ripper, but given the story that's been told, that this 20-year-old guy is allegedly a 16-year-old from Australia with no VPN and is using a school email, like, dude, come on, if you're gonna tell, like, a story to convince me that this guy is the guy you're claiming he is, at least make your claim consistent, like, Jesus Christ. Anyways, so, Fergie bad, Ripper bad, but we are not the same person. Anyways, Moth has said a bunch of things about me to his Discord followers that would suggest that he didn't bother watching my whole video all the way through. First off, Moth claims that I said that he watched Daisy's destruction. Specifically that I said that he watched it. Well, that's weird because I didn't say that. Moth said that. He said so himself that he saw it on accident 2 years ago on 4chan. May 9th, 2021, in a Q&A section of his Discord, a user by the name Starlit Horror would ask Moth the question, what's the one video that you have seen that has messed you up the most? Moth would reply by saying this.
That I've seen, part of Daisy's destruction by accident. On 4chan, years back. Case I covered Juko Furuta.
I even gave him the benefit of the doubt, saying that he either was lying about it for attention or that Daisy was posted to the surface web to fuck with a bunch of people. To give benefit of the doubt here because, oh god, if this is true, this man could literally go to jail. So first off, Plagued Moth claimed to have accidentally seen Daisy's destruction on 4chan. And as I've already pointed out, Daisy's destruction has snuck its way on the surface web before. And because of that, I'm sure plenty of people have accidentally seen it. So Plagued Moth has plausible deniability. If someone were to show him this screenshot of him admitting that he's seen it, he can just say, well, it was from 2 years ago and I saw it on accident. I didn't want to see it. Then it would be understandable. Second of all, as we have discussed with criticisms of of Moth that he has gotten in the past. He has been caught lying about specific gore films that he has either said he's seen but in reality doesn't actually exist, or just making up details for videos that don't actually happen. So it could be very possible that he's lying just to sound edgy. Why you would lie about seeing one of the worst videos on the internet, I have no idea. But considering that it's been in his past behavior, it is a possibility that he just made this shit up. When his chat showed him the message from 2 years ago, Moth's response to it was even more strange. Moth claims that he saw Daisy's destruction as screenshots in a YouTube thumbnail for clickbait? I'm sorry. What? First off, how the fuck would you have known that a single screenshot was from this infamous Hurtcore video? Unless, of course, you saw it yourself on accident 2 years ago like you claimed. Like, the fuck? Also, you just changed your story. Again. At first, when this whole drama started, you said that you had never seen it, or downloaded it, or knew anyone who had access to it. And to be fair to you, I don't think you own Daisy's destruction, or know how to access it, or know some guy. However, we also have you saying that 2 years ago, you had seen it on 4chan on accident. Now you're saying that it was screenshots from a YouTube thumbnail? Like, I'm so confused. But you know what? It's okay, because after I exposed all this on livestream, he scrubbed any mention of Daisy's destruction from his server. Yep, just like that, completely gone. His Q&A section from 2 years ago? Gone. His recent response? Gone. Any mention of Daisy on the server? Completely gone. That doesn't look suspicious or weird at all. Anyways, more lies. Moth claims that he had proof on me and Creepy that's nasty shit that he's just casually sitting on. I can guarantee you, my good sir, that you won't have shit on me. Like, I've been on the internet for a hot minute. I've been here since I was a teenager, and even before that, I was making like Littlest Pet Shop videos when I was 8 years old. Like, the most damning shit you're gonna find on me is when I was being an anti-SJW like 5 years ago. But I've addressed this so many times, it's not a secret to anyone that I'm a different person now than I was when I was a teenager. Back in the year 2016, when politics were a big talking point as they are now, I was a political fucking mess. I'm taking the gum out because I'm sure you guys can see it. I was an overzealous political pugnet in the year 2016. Politics was just something that I was so fascinated with in 2016 for literally no fucking reason at all. I had literally no original political opinion, and I barely made any significant research in order to form my own opinion on anything. Literally every single political opinion I had came from some other person who I thought knew what they were talking about. But in reality, a lot of the 2016 political commentary channels that I really got into, turns out all of them, at least in the current day and age, aren't seen in the most positive light. If you were to look back on political commentary 2016, it was a simple war between people who were social justice warriors and people who were anti-social justice warriors. Now in the year 2020, there's no such thing as social justice warriors, at least they're not as seen as that big of a deal, and anti-social justice warriors are basically seen as the social justice warriors of today. Like, it's so fucking silly. And it's so weird that I genuinely used to look up to these people and thought that they knew what they were talking about. Like, these people legitimately formed all of my opinions into this one stupid channel called Bon Bon in the Suit. Now, don't get me wrong, I made a lot of good videos using the Bon Bon character. I can't say that Bon Bon in the Suit was necessarily a negative experience, but she definitely was a pain in the fucking ass. Bon Bon in the Suit could have been such an iconic, such a vital role model to the YouTube platform, but instead I turned her into a political asshole for literally no reason other than my IRL self in 2016 was a political asshole who gave way too much of a shit about something that I knew literally nothing about. And I was too lazy to do actual research on because deep down, I knew I didn't give a shit. I knew I didn't care about politics, but it was all that anyone would ever fucking talk about. And within the last 4 years, from 2016 when politics were at its height crazy, to now where politics is just a depressing mess to even get into, I came to the realization that I don't give a shit about any of this. I don't care about politics. I don't want to even talk about politics. I mean, I will. Doesn't mean I'm gonna fucking like it or give a shit. In reality, politics is a bunch of stuff that is out of my control, and no matter how much screeching I might want to do on the internet, nobody actually gives a fuck about my political opinion. I barely give a fuck about my own political opinion because most of my political opinions were based off the things that other people were saying. I was just so done being fed information through both of my ears and having shit being spewed out of my mouth. It's not who I am now. I don't want to be known for that, and I don't want this channel to be solely political. I stopped making politics part of my YouTube identity around the time of 2018, 2019. For any one of my friends in high school and still today who had to deal with 2016, 2018 me, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was awful, and I know I was awful. I was an intolerable asshole for 3 whole years of my life. Like, trying to use any of that shit against me will only hinder any personal growth that I could be making. And I'm still making growth because I've made plenty of mistakes. There is still a lot of problematic words in my vocabulary that I have to outlearn so that I don't use that problematic language anymore. And I'm still making plenty of growth today. And to give myself at least a little bit of credit, I'd say I am so much better now than I was when I was a brainwashed teenager. I mean, Moth literally self-admits that he is literally trying to find anything on me. Any mud that'll stick, as he says. So if you want some mud, here's me supporting anti-SJWs and being problematic. Moth claims that I have been attacking his kids, even though I say on stream and twice in my video to not harass his family. Also, since we're on the topic anyways, please do not harass this guy's family members or his kids. They don't have anything to do with this drama, and it's not their fault that this is happening right now. They shouldn't be affected by any of this because they're not responsible for what their father posts on the internet. His children have nothing to do with their father's online activity. They shouldn't face any harassment because of this. They didn't choose their parents, so this doesn't fall on them. Also, and just to clarify, this account on Twitter has been making jabs at their daughter, and both Moth and Andrea claim that this is my alt account, but like, this isn't fucking me. Like, bitch, I don't know who this is. Moth also went on to say that I accused him of being a predator who molests kids, which... no. So there were some accusations circulating around Reddit of Moth grooming someone underage in his server, and it was presented by a user called Jimmy J. Now, Reddit posts speculate that Moth would be flirting with Discord mods, one of which, according to the Redditors, was underage. However, there is no evidence that we know of that would suggest that the people that he was flirting with on his Discord were underage. In fact, Ram Ranch would also confirm that not only had his partner got jealous of the flirting and knew it was going on, but also that every single person that Plagued Moth had been flirting with on the server was of age. To reiterate, Plagued Moth, as far as I'm aware at this very moment, is not a sexual predator going after minors. Every single person that he has flirted with, not only has his partner known about it, but they were also of age. The reason why I made it a point to debunk the grooming accusations and not even bring Jimmy's name into my original video, Plagued Moth, as far as I'm aware at this very moment, is not a sexual predator going after minors. Every single person that he has flirted with, not only has his partner known about it, but they were also of age. It's because Jimmy J is a pedophile. The only reason that I talked about the grooming allegations at all was to dispel the idea that just because minors exist in a space full of 18 plus content, that doesn't mean that Moth is this dangerous child groomer. He's just dangerously stupid. Anyways, so interesting stuff did happen besides the community having a total meltdown. Despite weeks of Moth defending his Discord up and down for not being a gore haven full of kids, the moment my video comes out and the moment I start posting shit on Twitter of Moth talking shit about me, he starts purging everyone. So the new rules of the Discord are that users have to verify that they are at least a subscriber or they're getting banned. A ton of people got kicked because this dude was so pissed that some of his follower base actually took what I had to say into consideration. Also, just the irony in that, right? That this guy who was defending his server and defending the fact that he had minors in his server, but it's totally fine because there's no gore in it, suddenly he starts purging everything the moment my video is made. Now that is hilarious. Not to mention he is in full support of people false flagging my content and taking it down. So, great. I love this. You gotta love that instead of making any sort of proper response on his main platform to all of this nonsense, that instead he decides to hide in his Discord scrubbing everything, and he instead wants to take the video completely down, which I'm more willing to do so myself if he only does these two things that he has refused to do. Number 1. Just be honest about the whole Daisy thing, dude. I gave you so much of the benefit of the doubt with my original video. I even accused you of flat out lying about ever seeing it. Like, I'm okay if you saw it on accident because I don't think that you're a pedophile weirdo that wants to see kids get raped and murdered. Like, I don't think Mango is a pedophile because they got spammed with a bunch of CP. They didn't want to see that on their Twitter. Nobody wants to willingly see child porn unless they actively go search for it themselves. And from every statement you have made about Daisy's destruction, you have never actively tried to look for it yourself, and I believe you when you say that. But the thing is though, you confessed to seeing it 2 years ago on 4chan on accident, then you lied about it when you said you never saw it at all, and now you changed your story again to seeing it in YouTube thumbnails? Like, at this point, I'm just using all of your words against you, and you can see where you're contradicting yourself, right? Like, can you and I just be honest with each other here? I basically just made a fucking timeline video of Twitter drama. It was basically just a fancier Bullblacks video. Like, come on, dude. Number 2. Show the audit log. Dude, this whole thing centers around a Discord channel that was deleted the moment that creepy reading made his tweets. If you want to prove him wrong, you can show us the audit log. It will show the edits to the server. If you shift through it and there is no super secret videos channel, then I'll take back everything I said and shut up. And all I was trying to do was have some journalistic integrity on my end. And he never answered his personal DMs. And neither did any of his Twitter defenders or followers except for Monroe. So by the end of the day, I could only really rely on the people who are willing to talk to me. And if those people have discrepancies in their stories, it's up to Moth to debunk their testimonies with real evidence. Actual screenshots. At this point, I have literally provided more screenshots to back up what I'm saying than either Moth or Andrea has combined. I gave a platform to these testimonies because these people wanted those stories to be heard. And of course, I'm going off the word of people who are willing to talk to me and not the ones who are hiding in a Discord server and whining and bitching about why I didn't talk to them. Like, bitch, I don't know you. And if you want to talk to me, my DMs are open. I don't care that I am blocked by Plagued Moth. Moth doesn't have to like me or respond to me. He's lied in the past. He's openly lying about me now, literally just making shit up and hoping that it sticks. He's called me a crackhead and a cunt, expecting that after all of this would be dumb. I get it. I'm not important enough to talk to, I guess. I respected my journalistic integrity enough to try and give him the floor. I respectfully did so, and he decided to talk mad shit. And that's on him, not on me. Of course he wouldn't talk shit to my face. He's gonna do it to his audience in a Discord server and encourage them to false flag my shit. Also, he tags me in all of his current tweets that he's been making, slandering me, making lies about me, when I can't see this shit because I am blocked. Like, at least when that creepy reading made his initial tweets talking about this, you guys had a good couple of days beefing it out before you decided to block him. But when I made my video, you immediately blocked me, started making accusations about me that I couldn't address because I didn't see this shit. The only reason why I can see it is because my defenders have been sending me your tweets, but I can't respond to any of it because I'm fucking blocked. I get blocking me because you don't like me. But blocking me and then continuously tagging me and shit, not only making up accusations about me that I can't properly respond to, but also making fun of my looks, is incredibly low. Like, I don't mean to pull a Leafy as here, but this is a 30-year-old grown-ass man acting like this on the internet. Like, come the fuck on, dude. But regardless on him being a piece of shit, that doesn't justify Jimmy J projecting, or this guy doxing him, or Fergie being a toxic predator on his server. So, fuck them kids and fuck you too. And also, just to clarify something else, I tweeted out saying that this whole thing was like Kiro the Wolf Part 2 Electric Boogaloo, and it is not because I am saying that Plagued Moth also fucks animals. Plagued Moth
doesn't have sex with animals. I don't have any proof of that. But I made this comparison because Kira the Wolf falsely took down my video that I made on him almost 2 years ago, I think. And he admitted to me in an email exchange I had with him saying if I had told an unbiased retelling of events, then he wouldn't have taken my video down. Meaning that Kiro took down my video not because of copyright, but because I hurt his feelings. So I'm saying that this is Kiro the Wolf part 2, not because Moth and Kiro both fuck animals, but it's because both of them are open about abusing YouTube's system to try and silence me. So yeah. That's it. This will be the last time that I talk about this on my social medias. I'll try and have the full stream up for all of the context later. I just have to, scrub out his docs because I'm not here to provide Moth's docs to my audience or to anyone else. I respect his family enough to not put them in, any real danger, and I can only hope that Moth has the same decency with me. But considering that he's willing to lie about me while I'm blocked so that I cannot properly respond to shit, I've pretty much been given the impression that Moth is a pretty vindictive person. So Moth, stop lying about me, and stop encouraging your audience to mass flag me. Because look, we can argue whether or not the allegations against you are true or not. I already said that we should presume everyone innocent until proven guilty. Creating a mass flagging campaign against someone in an orchestrated way on YouTube is not only a dick thing to do, but it's against TOS. Listen, man, you already lost your Patreon, right? I don't think you want to lose your YouTube channel either. I still think that you should be at least allowed to stay on YouTube, but I think that you should be open to criticism, especially when you get involved publicly with drama, especially when you publicly say things that don't make you look too favorable. And people should be able to call your ass out without being threatened with false pedophile accusations. Moth isn't gonna stop referencing me, but just know that whatever he's about to say about me is either gonna be a lie or it's gonna be some old shit that I've already addressed. I've already proven with this video that Moth is willing to lie about me in order to shut me up. Well, I am shutting up, but not because I'm scared of you. It's because I'm not dealing with people who talk mad shit about me, make false accusations about me behind a blocked Twitter account so that I can't properly respond to any of your accusations. I'm not dealing with that. That's some pussy shit. And honestly, it's not even worth my time to have to address this guy who openly says that he is literally digging up anything on me, meaning that he is conducting his lies in bad faith. I'm just gonna use this video as a buffer to provide the proper evidence and context that Plagued Moth is willing to lie about me. Whatever he says from this point forward, he's just either gonna try to rally me up or just lie about me blatantly. Because although I cared about criticizing both sides and getting to the bottom of this entire Twitter drama, Plagued Moth is more interested in calling me a thumb. And although I look like a thumb, at least I have the self-confidence to not blatantly lie about someone online just because you're pissed at them. At least I have the self-confidence and good fucking morality to not laugh about people dying on the internet and rating it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, I might look like a thumb, but I'm not selling gore to kids. There's nothing that I'm gonna say that's gonna get you to stop talking about me, but unless you want to lose your fucking YouTube account for false flagging, I would kindly keep my name out of your fucking mouth.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
My sweet little boy, my tiny, tiny baby, he is so sleepy, so sleepy, so sleepy, so sleepy, and I love my sleepy goblin. I love my sleepy boy.
I don't know what the fuck this ending was supposed to be. Okay, bye. See ya.